Liga B win, baby. It's called Liga B win because we always be winning. That's why it's called B win. That's what it is.
That's how we're winning. That's how we win long jump goals, man. That's how we get those long jump goals.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
All right, guys. What an intro. We got people all over the place. I got videos coming in left, right, and center for lots of people. But just real quickly, I didn't get a chance to see the game, so I thought I'd get insight from Nina all the way out in the U.S. outside of Boston.
Yes. You want me to just give you my quick?
Yeah, I'll harass you in like 2 seconds. I'll do a quick hello on the Joe factor also because he's all the way out of Portugal. So I'll just gonna play a quick hint where Joe was at today. There you go. That's where Joe is at today. At the Sadia Luge, buddy. You want to fill people in how your day went?
I mean, yeah, it was absolutely unreal. First of all, great to be back. Hey guys. But yeah, today was just an awesome day all around. The atmosphere was pretty great. I got to the game pretty much like right before it started, so I didn't really get to see too much of the atmosphere like outside. But inside, like the clock was going crazy. It was awesome. And yeah, it was just unreal to be back. The last game I saw was December, 16th or something like that, 2019.
Wow.
Against Braga, the one where Fer scored like the own goal, and we ended up winning 2-1. But yeah, so it had been a long time coming, but man, it felt good to be back.
Very cool, very cool.
Awesome.
And yeah, no, it's good. It's good to have you and Nina back. It's amazing to have you guys covering out. We got Alex at a Raiders game. Luigi is working extra time, and I had time with friends and family. That was long overdue, for lack of better words, and lovely people that I easily got me distracted away from Benfica, and it was well worthwhile. So I'm glad you guys were free enough to come in, especially with the difference of time zone and things of sort. But yeah, let's see how we're going to break this down today. I will load up Goal Point. It's Benfica's Matchday 3, correct? If I'm not mistaken, I did rush to get the show put on. And we had a tie against Tondela, a tie that we typically would say, we expect to win. It would be the expectation, but it's never very easy in a sense. So I'm just going to quickly share the screen here and get this on the screen for everyone. Here's the lineup that the team went out with. So again, myself not seeing the match, I take a peek. I'm not overly surprised with a bit of rotation happening in this squad. With Odie in the back as our main individual, Grimaldo, Jan Vertonghen, Verissimo, Almeida, Mete in the back, Everton, Romario, Pizzi, Ramsch, and Darwin. So let me throw it to Nina real quickly. When you watched this game and the game kind of started off, how did this lineup feel initially? Did it feel okay? What was kind of the initial vibe for it?
Well, it's hard to say because sometimes there's two, like Darwin, I like him up front, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. It feels a little bit too messy. Passes get a little bit too messy. Just like the first half was not, it wasn't, to me, it was just, I knew it was going to be another tale of two halves game. I knew it because either the first half was going to be really, really good. And from the first 20 minutes, I already knew it was going to be a crap show. And I was praying frantically for the second half to be a little bit better, which obviously it did. But the first half was, to me, I think it was a little bit too rushed in some ways. But I think the lineup was okay, but maybe they could have put in Verismu maybe to start. I feel like maybe the second half. What do you think? Should they start Verismu next time? What do you guys think? Because from what he showed us the second half, I mean, it was night and day.
I was a little surprised that the Moratu didn't get the call up. I knew Otamendi wasn't going to play. Well, not I knew, but I saw the lineup, and when I saw that he wasn't going to play, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Vertonghen had a couple games out there where he was recovering from injury. So you kind of hope that JJ knows who he's going to rotate, who he's not going to rotate. When I saw Maite, I was like, okay, I understand this is going to be a more rotated side because of the PSV match and everything. But I'll get into a little bit more like the substitute performances later. But like looking at it, I saw PZ, and I don't think I've ever been in person to a game, like just like a little superstition type thing. I've never been to a game where PZ's played like well. I've been at games where he scored like penalties and stuff, but never a game where he's like played well. So, or at least enough to my liking. So I was kind of like a little bit, uneasy about that. And then
kind of nervous,
like, I love him, but he's just he ain't been it lately. So that was something that I was hoping, maybe a weaker opponent, he can get a goal, and sort of get back into that preseason form. But yeah, that was kind of my take on the lineup.
Very cool. Also, a funny shout in the chat. I saw Andrew saying that he was just below you at this game itself, which is pretty cool in terms of stand. So you both were at the game today. I'm going to just play another clip of Joe's. All right, so
yeah, that was post Gilberto goal. I was too busy celebrating, and my voice is a little gone. But man, that place erupted when he scored. That would have been cool if I got a video of that. But living in the moment, trying to do that too.
Very, very cool. So Andrew was kind enough. So he was literally just below you there. So I got a couple clips and try and load up rapid fire, just to try to get some of these in there. But it seemed like from the clips I've seen so far that the atmosphere was very exciting. It seemed like everyone was quite energetic in the stands. How does it feel to kind of hear the fan? I know it's still spaced out in terms of the individuals in the stadium.
It was pretty loud. It was still pretty loud. And I'll tell you one thing, I saw someone tweet this as well, and I thought about it when I was at the game too. If we didn't have fans today, if there were no fans, we would not have won. That's like it's just 100%. Even in the first half, I mean, they were whistling at the keeper and everything. He got the yellow in the first half for wasting time. Everyone's yelling at Pizzi and Maite and Andre Almeida because they really just weren't playing well in the first half. And yeah, but like the second half, I mean, the team, when Benfica was on the front foot, like everyone was behind them. So it was just great to see the fans back, and you can tell that, JJ was talking about it in the press conference too. They really do make a difference. As much as we wanted to say, last year during COVID, no fans, Benfica has better players, but it's played into it. We haven't lost a game this season yet, which I joked about it, hey, undefeated season still in play, but it's just a fact that, JJ hasn't given us a reason to doubt him yet.
What a turnaround it's been compared to last year. When we look at last year in terms of the feel of it, just didn't feel like anything was going well. It's absolutely crazy. For Andrew, it was his first time going to Luge, and it was crazy amount of fans. So it's very cool. I'm glad he had a chance to do that. It's an experience I think everyone should get to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's nothing like it.
Even at the worst games, I've been to the first game of my future individual that eventually became my future wife. My girlfriend at the time, we went to our first game at Luge many years ago with Kiki Flores. And it was right before he got fired. Half empty stadium. An amazing experience. Absolutely. Even though we struggled against, it wasn't Tondela, oh my God. Torines. Not Torines. Trofes. That's it. There we go. There we go. She's in the chat. Current wife. The one and only. But it was very cool. And it doesn't matter whether you see them win, lose, or draw. It's just a wild experience. I got one more video here. We'll get into the match shortly. I got 2 more videos. I'm going to throw one more up from Joe that I saw, which is really cool. there's Andrew just below him, right? So it looked like a bumping atmosphere, absolutely bumping atmosphere. I love seeing these things. It just cheers me on. There you go. She got me. Trofans. We booed the team. Yeah, Kiki Flores had to go, man. That was what a game to go to. But yeah, no, it was quite a bit of fun. Let's kind of go a little bit back into the match here. And I didn't see the game. I'm going to rely fully on you guys. Start with Joe this time. Is it a case that we dominated and just couldn't find the back of the net, or is it a case where Trofans was on their A game and we're off our footing? Like, how did it feel?
So I had also watched the Sporting game this week, which obviously ended in the 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
For Sporting Famalicão, which they definitely should have won the game if anyone watched. Like Sporting were just hammering them the last 15 minutes after playing with zero intensity, zero urgency, and like that's pretty much what Benfica were doing too. So it seemed to be a case where like in the first half we had no urgency. It was just that classic, oh hey, instead of trying to like pass between the lines, we'll just pass around the back four, see if we can break through. Oh no, we can't break through. Let's go around the other side. Like it was just that classic back and forth. Pizzi was terrible, offensively and defensively. Andre Almeida wasn't good. There were a couple plays where, you know, I was watching him play and I was like, you know what, this guy just doesn't have the confidence still from his injury. Because there were some times where he just should have taken on the left back. It wasn't like he's playing against Bayern Munich. Like,
I think he's still kind of afraid. I feel like he's kind of like he wants to go and he wants to give it 100%, but he also doesn't want to make anything worse. But at this point, I feel like after all of that time, you think that you would be 100% ready, you know, but I feel like he's still kind of very flip-floppy, as if, you know, what he wants to do. He doesn't know if he should go, you know, full force in a game or not.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things. And like, I kind of noticed it too. It just seems like he's a little bit hesitant, and I don't blame the guy. Like,
yeah,
honestly.
No, me neither.
And then I mean, you just pulled up Darwin right now. Darwin too. One of the things I was kind of happier with though is like, pretty much this is just something in general that I've been thinking of as I've been watching the season. This is obviously my first time on with you guys so far this season, which is crazy to say, but it's like Darwin seems like he's doing a better job of holding up the ball. Gonçalo Ramos doesn't know what it means to hold up the ball. Like he's able to win the balls, but he can't hold them up. Darwin a lot of times doesn't win them, but when he does win them, he holds them up. Rodrigo Pinho, who I really saw for the first time today, he was great at holding up the ball and even like turning. He reminded me of like a Brazilian Lukaku for a second on some of the plays there. And he impressed me. I was pretty happy with the way he played. But in the first half, I was like, all right, Darwin, Everton too. I love Everton, but he's starting to remind me of the Brazilian Rafa. Like he dribbles, does all this stuff, like pretty stuff, gets up to the net, and then just doesn't shoot even. It's not even that he doesn't score, it's that he doesn't even shoot to score.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we'll get into shitties of the match and stuff later, but that's a little precursor there for you. And yeah, I mean, for the first half, that's kind of my analysis of it, is that we were just slow. Nina, do you have anything to add for the first half?
Pretty much that it was just a disastrous nightmare. I mean, me and my dad were both kind of just aggravated, and we were like, what the hell is going on? A few shots taken, but not ones that were even strong enough. I feel like every goal, or every almost goal that the keeper was saving, was just like muito fraco. Like all of those shots were like very, very easy for him to get. And it's like if once they get into the box, they kind of freeze, they try, and then they either try and it's too weak. They don't pass. They could be easily passing into the box just to find a good angle, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, it just seemed like it was very. But I was happy we even got shots on that. But yeah, right. Andrew could tell you everyone was like whistling and booing Everton at some point in the second half. Like no, in the second half there was one. No, it was the end of the first half. There was one play where he was at the edge of the box and Tondela had already scored, and then like some of the people from the clock started whistling at him, and I was like, you know what? Well, if he doesn't start shooting, he can expect more of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's for a reason.
Yeah. But then in the second half, there was that little scuffle in front of the net where we almost scored. And when we missed that one, I was like, all right, this is going to look like a tie for me. Because, you score a goal at the beginning of the second half, you kind of take the wind out of their sails and completely change things. Perfect. And
Right.
even at the end of the first half, we had a chance there in like the 42nd minute or so, where we were in front of the net and it just nothing came out of it. And then after in the second half, it seemed like we had a lot more urgency. You could kind of feel something was building. But until the first goal, like Rafa came on, obviously they made the subs at half. I do want to address this though. Julian Weigl, for anyone that had any doubt of him, he's new to the team. Weigl loves Benfica. Like this guy, you should have seen this guy on the field. The way he was running, like he really, I've always been a Weigl stan since the day we bought him. I liked him at Dortmund and stuff too. But he really impressed me. And like, I mean, just seeing him on social media and everything, and even him getting caught up with a bus, like little incident last year, or during the COVID year rather, like the guy just like really has adapted to this team. I know he had a daughter born here as well, but that like, I mean, he just really seems like he loves the team. And Gilbert after the match said the team's really united. And I think they are, which is, I could be crazy, but I got the jersey with the Champions League patch because I do feel like this year won't be an embarrassment. Not saying that we're going to advance or anything. And I know we're going to touch on the draw later, but yeah, I just loved the unity from the guys, like especially after the first goal. Yeah, Weigl, I mean, look at those passes, 55 out of 57.
Wow.
And they weren't all to the back and to the side. Like I was there. He made some passes to like the big chance created. Exactly. Like he was really making plays today. And I love the guy. Matej really just hasn't impressed me in general. But yeah.
No, me neither. Even the last game, I wasn't too I wasn't too impressed. I think he's just kind of slowly getting there, but it's very slow. And I feel like, I mean, what are you doing at the practices? You're supposed to all kind of be together, kind of get used to everybody, how they play. But I feel like it's just very it's very sluggish at the moment.
Yeah, it's like, buddy, you're 6'2" and you have little Salvador Agra getting the ball from you. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah, no. Yep.
And yeah, but I mean, in the second half in general, you could tell that there was a lot more urgency. And then once we got the first goal, every match I wait for a goal in the 88th minute, but the fact that it actually happened in the 88th minute was just awesome. Awesome. And the fact that it was Gilbert too, like Gilbert had a couple plays there where there was one I was like, who is that? Like he's really impressed me. And anyone that follows me on Twitter knows I owe Gilbert a pretty big apology if I ever run into him in the street, but because I haven't been very kind to the man. But it really, I mean, you look at Gilbert and you can really see the improvement that he's made from last season to this season. Really, him and Rafa are the only two that you can say are like, wow, like these guys have really stepped it up. Obviously, Rafa has always been good, but ever since that Euro performance, it seems like he's kind of brought it to another level.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's funny how, in terms of the match itself, do you mind if I ask? So, because when I looked at these stats and I was putting some on the screen earlier as we're talking, 74% ball possession for us. It seemed like both halves were equally under control, completely one-sided for shots. Like you look at the stats, it looks like a one-sided game. But did it feel like Tondela? It was just we were being very inefficient with the ball, based on what you guys are saying. I saw some comments in the chat also that we were doing some weak shots, things of sort. But did it feel like it was a matter of time before we scored as you were watching? Like, or were you kind of nervous that it was just one of these games that they couldn't find their footing?
In the first half, no. In the first half, it was a classic. All right, this is going to be the Benfica from last season, where we get 3 shots on net the whole game, and then we could play like 1 shot on net, and we're like, oh, why did we lose? It's like, it's because we didn't shoot. Like right. we didn't make the effort to score, and that's what the first half felt like. And in the second half, it just felt like, I mean, the goalie had some good saves. They were really just, I mean, sitting back. After they scored, even the goal that they scored, it was like just kind of on a counterattack. And for a lot of people, it was like, whoa, did they just score? Like there was barely a reaction.
Right.
But yeah,
I think they wanted just to kind of get it over with so they could continue to play. It's not like they didn't really have time to celebrate it because they're like, okay, now it's 1-1. Let's get to work and, let's go. Because by the 65th minute, I said, well, this is probably going to end like this. I don't understand. We're doing better, but it's probably going to either be a tie or we're going to lose. Because at that point, it's like, We're already almost halfway into the second half. When are we going to start to show up for this game? When are we going to decide to, play? Not like we're at home. It's not like we are away,
There's something neat, and it's something that Joe brought up earlier. It's the fact that Benfica just keep on winning, right? Technically, we're undefeated in everything we're doing right now in official games, right? And there is a certain level of mentality. Like I just highlighting this comment here in the chat. Weigel, what a player, but it's not this one. It's this one. Here we go. Back where we belong, first place, and that's where after Sporting drop points, after Porto's drop points, everyone has dropped points. We're the number one team in Portugal in the Liga NOS. I know it's early in the season, early in where we're headed, but it's that fortitude to come back and get the result and nick it at the end. You know what I mean? Do what you got to do to, against PSV, being down 10 men and hustling to get the result to get us to advance. You know what I mean? Like, it's just going undefeated. It is great. In a sense, it was a crazy grind. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in the month of August. That's
Wow.
double check again, which is wild. And now it's time for an international break. I think the timing is perfect for it. Not all these guys get called up for international duty. I know some will. João Mario has gotten called up again after not being part of the Seleção for a while. Obviously, guys like Everton have been getting call-ups to Brazil. So we'll see.
Rafa too.
Rafa.
Yep. Rafa.
Yeah, and I think would be called up also to Belgium. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah,
if he's,
I think the people that were called up that I saw were the new guy. I forget his name, which is terrible. The Serbian.
Nemanja. It's like another. It's like a
Nemanja.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes.
So Nemanja got called up.
Taarabt got called up. Yeah.
Taarabt got called up. Rafa, João Mario, Otamendi, Verissimo, and Jan. And
Odysseus. And then I'd look at guys like Darwin and such to kind of, spend some time practicing over the next week in a bit. He still needs to get back into game shape. He just recently recovered from injury. It's going to take a while for him to figure it out. He's got to work on this comment that Blackstorm made here, right? That he can't be afraid of taking a shot. Early when we signed him, he seemed a little fearless, and he got more hesitant throughout last year. One comment made earlier, here, I'll highlight it again, Gilberto being the new punching bag. I do think he kind of got that honor last year. I think it was just the right back situation was terrible, right?
He was. Oh, I'm also just going to jump in there, Mario. He was terrible. I mean, the man literally became like he was so bad. He was so bad. I've seen guys that play in the Island League in Terceira that play levels above him last year, like bad. And then this year he's just he's actually a competent player. So good on him. But I do want to just say that last year he was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good to kind of see him though coming back. I think the fact that Almeida's back, and there's a little of a fanfare made throughout the club about the fact that Almeida's back and people being excited to see him. Diogo last year shine. It's Gilberto knows that either put up or shut up. Like either you deliver now or you're not going to see minutes because we have a 1-2 option. You don't want to be a third guy, right? The third guy never sees minutes, so he is obviously quite happy. Kind of funny comment, celebrating 2-1 against Tondela, won the Champions League. I think it's this, this mentality that never say die. I think that's the club seem to have lost that. I swear this team under the final bit of Lodge or even under George Jesus' first year, you're down 1-0 to Tondela. It is what it is. We're going to take a loss. We'll just take the loss. Maybe we'll get the point back, but who cares? It seemed like there was a lot of just a sour mentality that has been lost in this club. Thankfully, it seems. Hopefully we got that fight. Cash in, get those. It's that last 2 games actually here. We wanted Morgecha, and they cashed that check in the last 2 games. That's spot on right there. It's the fact that you have to just grind it out. It's going to be ugly sometimes, and let it be ugly. But we got the 3 points, and look at the standings. We're number 1 on the table, right? So, and it's when you go through these streaks where things don't look so kosher, and you get the results. Then you get the good streaks when you do look good, right? You're running.
Well, yeah, and I really think it's important. Hopefully through the international break, we can kind of keep it up. I thought today was a really important game because of the last match. What you were able to do against PSV was great, but if you lose to Tondela or draw with Tondela, the team kind of loses that confidence going into the you know what I mean, into the break.
Yep.
So I think that it's exciting because if we can go into Kiev, and then the next game is Barcelona, and we're able to take either 6 or even 4 points from those two games. Ideally 6, because I think the first Barcelona game is here in the Luge. I'll confirm that.
Yeah.
But like that's going to be really important for you. And if you're not that confident, and it is at the Luge, by the way, I just checked, then like those first 2 games really need to be wins. If you do have any hopes of advancing in the Champions League, that is. So just being able to have that confidence is going to be massive.
Yeah, no, it's one of these things where if you look at, and I guess we can segue a little bit into the Champions League itself. That was one heck of a draw that we got coming out. Obviously, a lot of hype around these players, what they've done, all the excitement and things of sort. But now here we are, we're in the UEFA Champions League. And the first match, as you did say, is against Kiev. So it is going to be at home. We have the first 2 games at home, which is nice.
No. The first one's away and the second one's at home.
Is it away? There we go. Look at me screwing up. God damn it, Mario! Off your game.
The first one's away at Kiev, and the next 2 are home against Barcelona and Bayern. But obviously, I don't have too many hopes for the game with Bayern. I just don't want to get embarrassed.
Bayern,
listen. I understand where Benfica, all this stuff. Like, believe me, I want to see Benfica win, but I'm also realistic. And when Bayern Munich just went and bought Sabitzer too, like they're a machine. Like that, the Bayern Munich of today is like the Benfica of the 1960s. Like it's totally different. It's okay to look at a team like that and be like, all right, let's just not get embarrassed.
Yeah, no, I agree. Bayern Munich is just one of those teams that even a bad Bayern Munich, like if Bayern Munich's playing terrible, I still petrified. Just like a bad Germany against Portugal. It's just
always have our number.
It's one of those things. They have our number. And they're quite tough to face. They're not a pretty side to face. Here's for everyone to see off the UEFA site. Yeah, so Kiev, every single team, I'll start with this, even that Sheriff team that everyone was kind of hoping to draw, that made their miracle run to get to the group stage. Never discount any club, in my opinion, in the Champions League. They can always surprise you. So Kiev away is so critical to get the result. If we can get that W away, just start off the group stage right. I think Barcelona is going through such growing pains. I said it on the last show before the draw that if there was a time and place to get Barcelona in your group stage in the last 2 decades, it is now. Anytime prior, it would have been amazing. But right now, they seem disheartened. They seem a little bit dysfunctional. They're not looking ideal. And they're still an amazing team, a challenge to face. But come away with 6 points in those first couple games and maybe nick a result because against Bayern, you never know, get a draw or a win at home. It can happen, right?
And listen, the thing is, like Dynamo Kiev in the league has not lost a game at home. Period. Actually, they have not lost a game at home yet. Playing in Ukraine is like playing in Russia. It's extremely difficult. So that's still a game that, if Benfica wins, that's a pretty big deal. Again, if you want to play in the round of 16, then you need to win those games. But just that being said, like none of these games, except for I really think the last game at home against Kiev, is a guaranteed win. And obviously, even then, it's a Champions League, like you said, Mario. You can't discount teams, but but yeah, I'm looking at the FIFA 77 comment right now. But yeah, that first game would be massive, and then the Barcelona game's 2 weeks later. That's huge for confidence, and you're at home. I really could see us taking 6 points there if we get the first 3.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm looking at these comments against and it's no disrespect to any of the teams, but I really think we can get the result. It's a toss up. You can watch Benfica beat Barcelona home and away and lose to Kiev and come third in this group. Like that could still happen, right? It's a case that's an open case. We can get a win against Bayern Munich. You never know, right?
Yeah.
And then the next week lose against Portimonense away.
Yeah, exactly.
0-0.
Yeah.
And as they said in the chat, Porto beat Bayern. There's no reason why we can't beat Bayern. You just never know. They go in overconfident, thinking they're going to crush us the way Benfica's been playing in past years. They're not fully paying attention. Look at Spurs, Pash Ferreira. I'm not saying Bayern's going to play their bench against us in any shape, way, or form, but sometimes players' minds, they think the game is won before the game has started. They may come in a little bit overconfident, and we have this momentum building, and we shock them, catch them backpedaling. Also, to try and come back from potentially down a goal, and we get another goal, and just there's a steamroll effect, right? You can easily capitalize from it. Do you think it's worth our time to fight for third and play in Europa, or I would? Again, I want knockouts Champions League. Is this a comment from Greg here on the screen? That's what I want. If we get Europa, it's because we can do our job correctly, and also we could have done our job correctly and failed.
Right.
I remember that horrible year of Italia where we got 0 points against United. We actually played well.
This Villar game?
Sevilla screwed up so bad, and there's a couple of opportunities we could have had goals, and that's how the ball rolls. It was very unfortunate. So that's
That
what I
year-
mean is, yeah,
That year was just so bad. Like scoring one, it's one thing to come out with 0 points. Scoring one goal in 6 games in the Champions League was what really did
It's
it for me.
embarrassing. It's
Like obviously
embarrassing.
everyone talks about the Basel like 5-0, like that's the one that
Yeah.
sticks with you, and Sporting fans will still always try to hit you with
Yeah.
that. And honestly, rightfully so. That was a disgrace, but I really pin that down to Vieira. That's the Penta year. Like,
Yeah.
there's really not much to cover there. But
Yeah.
as long as 10 points, like Boris just said, 10 points is possible. If we get 10 points in this group, I might have to tattoo JJ somewhere on my body, and I mean, it's just that'd be insane. 10 points with Bayern Munich and Barcelona. Oh,
It's doable though. You kind of look at
it is. No, when you look at the numbers,
if you
but
pull
it's
off the win
still-
against Kiev, right? You pull off the double win against Kiev, and you surprise Barca on both wins, which we can because the way Barca's playing, and then you get a draw off Bayern Munich, and boom. I think it's possible. I would like to. Worst case scenario, just to kind of answer the question, if we get some unfortunate luck, because it does happen, and we're in Europa, I still say play your heart out. I really think this is the year to prove, everyone, including myself, wrong, that this team has lost its footing. The fact is, we got a new president. This is everyone remotivated. This is George Jesus' final year. This is his chance to prove his worth because he failed miserably last year, and he can kind of salvage his image at this club and everything else. If he goes on and just kills it this season, has us all excited, does amazing in the Liga, does amazing in the cup games, gives us just some fun games in Europe, and even if in a freak event we go to Europa, give us a good fight, give us a good run. Just to have this team, I'd rather go down fighting than go down with a whimper, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
If we like, for me, looking at success for this season so far, we still have a couple days till the window closes. But with the current team right now, taking into account the people that we've added, the people that we've sent away, like Florentino is probably going to be going out on loan. Pretty soon.
I was seeing those rumors.
Yeah, and then Vinicius too is probably going to be sold or something. But like kind of just taking that all into account for me, I think that if we end up, making it to the round of 16 with this group, that's great success already. Really, just like if Porth makes it out, that's phenomenal because they're in the group of death too. Even if they make it to Europa League, like they probably should, but. Whatever. If they make it to Europa League, just like Benfica, I want us to make the semifinal. And if we make the semifinal, that's a successful season for me in Europe. Of course, we still need to win the league. I'd like us to win the Taça. Obviously, Taça Portugal, it's really difficult for me to care about the Taça Liga with the format and everything. But yeah, obviously, I want to win every competition we're in. But for me, if we make it in Europe, like if we end up in Europa League, I want us to win.
Yeah.
Like, so you know what I mean? That's where I kind of say, like, okay, yeah, we're Benfica. Like, we don't play to lose, but at the same time, we need to be realistic. In Europa, we're in a good spot where we can win, and we should try to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's again lots of time left in the transfer market itself. We just saw this new signing. I'm curious to see more of him in terms of what he's about, what he can do. I've heard some interesting stories. This other rumor here that we've been talking a little bit about Lazaro. It seems that more and more this keeps heating up in terms of story. This is another one from today. This will not die in terms of a story or a rumor, and we keep hearing more and more about it. But now that we're in the Champions League, the way we're playing, if you're a player and you're just on the fence, you're like, okay, I got this potential opportunity to be on loan at Benfica, to sign with Benfica. The Portuguese league is now the 5th ranked league in the world. It's kind of making moves. There's a lot of tension happening. Maybe these results, these eking out the wins, looking at the table, like if you're going to go, I'm going to go on loan Benfica for a year. I want to go and win titles. I want to go and have a successful year. I don't want to go on loan to a team that's struggling. This is the type of result that can help you go over the fence, go on international break. So it's going to be very big. And in terms of this Lazaro guy, I just keep hearing amazing things about him. I'm not as well versed in him, but Joe, you've seen him before, I thought, right?
Yeah, I would love him to join. he plays like in a ton of different positions, but he played for Austria in the Euros. He was only in I believe he was only in like one game as a sub, but because I remember watching him and I watched the game pretty late. Whatever, he played at least the last 10 minutes. I can guarantee that. But what I saw from him there wasn't anything special. But when he was at Inter, I thought he was decent. And keep in mind at Inter too, I mean, training with Hakimi and those other guys, like they had a pretty solid squad. Obviously, last year they won the league. So I even just think like, the guys used to playing at a top club. So having that in the squad instead of bringing in a guy from, the second division of Spain or Eastern Europe, that's good to have.
Yeah, man, and it's the fact that it's just more depth, more competition. I think I'm just gonna go in circles and repeat on how excited I am. And there's HJ. Hey, buddy, thank you so much. I got a feel for your Arsenal. He's an Arsenal fan. For anyone that doesn't know, if you have a fancy in Arsenal or things going on in the EPL, go check out his channel. He's a good guy. And send him some love because they're not having an easy season. It is something else. The EPL with Ronaldo signing, EPL is always an exciting league. There's no debate about it. But Ronaldo now coming on, everything else going on. Oh man, this is an exciting year. They're just looking for their win, man. They'll get their first win. It's been a long time since they've lost their first three openers, I think, for Arsenal. I think it's I don't know if it's ever happened before. It probably has, but it's very rare.
I don't know if and they haven't scored a goal yet either, which is pretty tough.
Yeah, it's tough. It's just one of those things where it's like the ball's not bouncing the right way, right? But yeah, do you want to kind of maybe jump into the Shadista match card or?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's get this going here. Give me 2 seconds. All right, here's the fun part here. The Shadis match, player of the match. You guys know the drill. So on the chat, because I didn't see the game, so I'm going to have no input on this. I'm purely going off Joe and Nina, but if you guys have your pick for your favorite player, your guys' Shadis, your moment, feel free to shout it out. I'm already seeing some of the chat popping out there. I also saw a comment, Laj at Wolves looks good. And the Wolves are looking decent, but they're not getting the result, right? So
I was talking to someone about this today. I've actually watched all three games because they're obviously massive on last year, and Wolves in general. Like even when it was Nuno's team, I mean, whatever. It's the Portuguese team in the Prem, obviously. But the first game against Leicester, I thought they dominated. Same with Viva Benfica. I like Felipe. But yeah, it's so like against Tottenham they also played really well, and against United today they played awesome. And
they haven't gotten the right result against really tough teams, right?
Yeah, and even today they didn't have luck. I'm not going to get into the United game, but like there was some referee stuff there, and even Trincão almost scored, and then there's a penalty that wasn't given. But anyway, I digress. We're here to talk about Benfica.
Yeah, let's focus on that. We'll leave the Portugal Southampton or the Hampton, Portugal Hampton. But hopefully Lodge does turn around, and we'll leave it at that. All right, guys, let's start off with Nina or Joe. Who wants to go first?
Doesn't matter.
I can go.
All right, I'll throw Joe into that one.
Yeah, so I would say
all right, I'll go. Okay.
I'll let Nina cut in. Let me go for it.
Go.
There you go. Let her take over.
Are you serious?
Yeah, do it.
All right. So my Shadis would be definitely just kind of aggravated with a lot that he just needs to be more confident. I feel like his confidence decreases. He gets nervous in the box, passing, or just wants to kind of just the shots are too weak. I was just very kind of disappointed because no.
Yeah,
Can you hear me, Mario?
yeah. No, she's chopping up so much. I feel bad. I was wondering. I'm like, is it me, or is it?
Yeah, I was
Nina?
also feeling that.
Okay. So maybe Nina's connection's like on the
I'm sorry.
pits.
Did you
Yeah,
hear?
I heard like DJ Mix a lot a little bit, and then it kind of cut out. That's like okay.
Wait, can you hear me now? Pretty good or no?
I can hear you. Okay, it's a little choppy, but I think you're sounding good. Do a quick 1 test 2.
Okay, so should I start again? Is it still?
It's a little bit, but a little bit better. Let's try one more
All
time.
right,
One
I
more
can
time.
write it in the chat.
We got it. Go in there. Let's shoot
All
out there.
right.
I'm throwing up other people's shooties.
All right, my shorties. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe let's go. Let's
Sure.
go with the chat idea.
So what
let's
is Darwin? Is that clear for everyone to hear?
Shorties,
I heard
Darwin. Darwin shorties.
Okay.
Papahua. Jugador.
Do you want to do your player and play of the match while you're at it, Nina? If you can.
I'm just gonna type it all so that way people don't have to worry about me going in and out.
All right.
No worries. We'll switch it up to Joe here, and again, it's all the multi directions and signals from all over the world, man. Too much excitement.
I think there are a couple of shitties that I'd like to give out today. Quick honorable mention goes out to Peasy. Yeah, that's all I have to say about it. The guy on defense was struggling. And one of the things that I really don't like about his demeanor in general, I know he lost for the first couple of games this season. He was your captain. Now that Andre Almeida was back today, he was captain. That's different. But man, I just don't like his demeanor. He doesn't really run, and then if he doesn't get the ball, he'll throw his arms up. He'll do this. He'll do that. He's kind of like, oh, I had a perfect pass. I had 13 passes today. One of them was good, and I'm going to do this with my hands when you don't settle the ball correctly with pressure. I just don't like the attitude he has. I know that he brings Benfica to Benfica, which a lot of people like, but I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of him. And today he just didn't help at all. JJ was great taking him off. So that's my honorable mention. But in terms of my Sharice of the match, Everton, man.
Awesome.
Everton, man. He just, I love him. I want to like him so much more. I think he's so dangerous. But he had one play at the end of the game. After we had scored, we were just killing time. He won a foul in the 94th minute. And I was like, wow, that's the Everton we need to see all game. But the guy does so much stuff, doesn't really get into the box. He also has bad luck with getting his shots blocked. But it's the guy needs to, I don't know if this is the point of the season where he needs to be rested. Last season I chalked it up to him having tired legs, but the guy needs to just figure it out. And yeah, he's my shittiest of the match just because when we were down, there were so many opportunities he had to cut in and shoot, and he just didn't really seem like he had any intention of shooting. He just wanted to dribble and pass the ball back to someone else. So for shittiest of the match, that's who I picked. I saw Nina pick Darwin. I also think that just the way we played in the first half didn't help him get the ball at all. It wasn't that we had plays and he missed an open shot in front of the net, or there was a tap in our header he missed. It wasn't like Seth last season where a lot of the times the problem was he just couldn't finish. It's that we can't even get there to get them to finish. So I think that a lot of that is chalked up to Peasy and Everton in the first half, who were working with him, and obviously Gonçalo Fams. All three of those guys really are the reason that Darwin didn't have a good first half. But I digress. For my player of the match, it has to be Gilbert. And then for the play of the match also, Gilbert had one specific play where he did this crazy little back and forth over there on the right side. But his goal was obviously massive, being in the right place at the right time. But it seems like he's just a lot more comfortable now playing on the right side, especially with Rafa. But close second for player of the match would be Julian Weigl, because he was just a monster. There were a couple of big plays he had where people might not remember, but going back pretty much it could have been a Tondela breakaway, and that's the only time that they ever have any danger is in a breakaway. And the guy was just everywhere. You could tell the second he came on, he was ready to play. He wanted to win. And he's just becoming a Benfica through and through. I really suggest that you guys give him a follow on Instagram or Twitter if you don't already, because it's great to see when players fully embrace like the team and the culture and everything. Not like a Caio Lucas who's here, just like, driving in his Porsche.
Yes.
And he's the first one out of the locker room every game, which is actually a true story. I saw that happen once. He left the stadium before I did. But anyway.
Yeah, so it makes a big difference. I noticed Goal Point put João Mario as the player of the match room. The other thing I forgot to touch on, to be honest, I read out the lineup. We talked a lot going into the season in the first few games about the idea of going with back to the 4-4-2 kind of formation.
Like
that's
today.
kind of that's what we did today. I feel kind of we haven't really talked about the lineup, talked about the game a little bit. You guys talked about it. I was relieved to kind of see that attempted. I think with the tired legs that going out on Otamendi and Vertonghen and the age, I think that's a better setup. The one rumor that I was hearing was David Luiz was on his way to Lisboa, and George Jesus, from my understanding, came out and kiboshed that rumor. Again, you never know what's going on. You hear a lot of stories. I think if we're going to lean towards this 4-4-2 throughout the Liga, that was George Jesus' old system. That's the way we always worked. Try and finesse it, figure out the right setup. If it's getting Chuck up there or Ramos, getting Darwin working with Chuck or whatever it is, or the rotation we do. The fact that Seferovic didn't really start this match, he did come on as a sub, but it'll be interesting to see if anyone else will kind of come and go. But I could see in Europe that we go back to the 3 in the back kind of setup, right?
And like for David Luiz, they've been talking a
Mhm.
lot here. Like he asked for 3 million euros, like clean, which means that it's pretty much double that. And we should not be paying David Luiz, 34-year-old David Luiz, without a club right now, that much money. Like, I'm sorry, but I love the guy. I know he's a Benfica. If he's a Benfica, he'll come here for $1 million. And if not, he'll go to Turkey, which is where I think he'll end up anyway.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Which some other quick news. I know our next JJ today in the press conference talked about how, like, if Verismu and Otamendi go back to international duty, like there's going to be an issue with them coming back on the morning of the Santa Clara match because of the
quarantine and restrictions, things of the sort.
But the South American Federation also moved back the times of the qualifiers for some other reason. So there's like an extra one now, and there's one less in March or something. I don't know. But pretty much the reason I bring this up is because Santa Clara, unfortunately, I shouldn't be laughing because I do love Santa Clara, having family in the Azores, but they just sold Carlos Jr., their top goal scorer from last season and arguably their best player, after having sold their best center back and the life of their team, Fabio Cardoso. And then they're selling, I just heard today that tomorrow it's going to be confirmed that Morita, the little Japanese guy they have, is sold to Fenerbahce. And they're probably going to try to sell some other people too, because they're going on a path similar to that of Avs and Belenenses and everyone, where they just don't have the money. And to stay in the Primeira Liga, they need to sell guys, like all of their good guys. So like Lincoln might go. It's really bad for them. So we're going to be playing a much different Santa Clara team than the one that qualified for Europe last season.
And it seemed like they had a good little run in the Confederations Cup and with Partizan. If they had kind of held on, maybe a little bit more momentum, maybe a little bit more incentive.
They did very good.
They did very good. All it would have taken was, a little bit of luck and things of the sort. And that could make the difference for a club like that. Oh, you're going to be in the group stage, yes, of a small European competition. But when you're a mid-table to lower table player in the Liga NOS, if you have an opportunity to play in Europe, you'll take it because you just don't get it with, some of these other clubs, right? Tondela, things of the sort, right? But yeah, they're not in a good positioning. I think, I don't know what's going on financially with them, what the backstory is, but unfortunately their preseason is not lined up. They're not building well off last year like it was anticipated. And it's to our advantage. Well, so we'll take it, right?
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, I think it was so stupid that the timing of they sold Carlos Jr. before the second leg. Like, anyway, that's their club, not ours. But anyway, yeah, I do think we're catching them at a good time.
just as a quick show for I just missed a comment here. Where is he? O Felipe aqui. Eu vou dizer em português, porque eu penso ele disse ele não percebe inglês muito bem. A gente somos uma mistura do Inglaterra, tem Canadá, tem Estados Unidos, tem muitos países à volta do mundo. Para Benfica está falando inglês, mais para gostam de falar do clube. So isso é este canal aqui. So obrigado para olhar a gente hoje e carrega o Benfica. Just a quick note for that guy, because it's nice to kind of hear from Benfiquistas all over the world. I think the pleasure I've had of being part of this for the years I've done it is just meeting a Benfiquista in Nepal, meeting Benfiquistas, Latin America and Africa, different parts of Europe, Eastern Europe. We had a German on before, things of sorts. So it's always quite fun. And it's always a great being part of it. It's a great club, great family. And what a great time to be a Benfica right now. Like, it was a very dark time, but the turnaround, and not to pick on HJ, I'm not sure if he's still watching, but what's going on with his Arsenal, they hit a rough patch, so went into a dark patch and got very ugly, and it doesn't seem to be improving. And this does happen with many teams in Europe, where it's just you can't get things going on the right track, and it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy that you're going to struggle next year, and you're going to struggle even more. And it feeds into the transfer market, it feeds into the mentality. And it almost felt like we were on the cusp of that at the end of last year. Like, holy shit, what are we doing? And it seems like we're turning around. And if you turn it around, like you revive it, everyone gets behind it. It gets a lot of excitement, and goes back to the importance of being in the Champions League. Because for many Benfiquistas globally, because exposure to Champions League is so big and things of sort, you just get discussed more, right? When you hear a La Liga program now in North America talking about La Liga, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, they'll do a little segment talking about what's going on in Europe. It's like, oh, there's Benfica coming up, and Benfica's a big team. Here's some of the story, and you just start hearing more of the terms of Benfica. And I will say this, that is unfortunate to say this, but as Benfica in Canada, you hear the term Porto more in our media than you do Benfica, just because the Champions League, right? Because Porto's made it to knockouts a few more times, and so their names get said a bit more, and it's all about branding, marketing, awareness. So it's huge. It's huge. We got Winnipeg family over there too. That's awesome. Winnipeg. Yeah, we've had Winnipeg Benfica on here. So lots of people, man. I love it. Everyone from all over Australia. Yeah, Australia. The guys that are staying. Love it. The Australian ones are the wild ones, because they're up early. There's a guy I talked to once from Australia, and he kind of talk about how, like, us on the different, depending on the coast you're at, you might wake up early to watch a match. Then they're going to bed, shishikama, and then waking up like 4 a.m. Early rising. It's like when Korea hosted a World Cup, and in North America, it was like every early morning you're waking up to watch a match, right? Yeah. So we got someone here in France also. I love all these people everywhere. There's Away Days, very cool guy out of France. He's very awesome. Makes all those stickers, things of sort. He's a good guy also out of there. Bay Area. There we go.
Steph, yeah.
There you go. For Alex. Alex at a Raiders game, so he's out in the Vegas side right now. But yeah, 3 a.m. What a start time. So yeah, it's morning. So he's starting up his day. He's having his cafe. That's probably like lunchtime for wherever it is, but it's very cool. Very cool. But yeah, man, hopefully I didn't miss anyone in here. I'll try to go through it all here. But yeah, I'm hyped. I don't know. It's hard to hold back the excitement. Like, it's very exciting. I know we're all hyped about it. Any other thoughts you guys want to throw on this game or the lineup or what's going down?
I mean, just in general, my biggest thing.
I'm just glad it's over, but I'm glad it ended better.
Yeah, I really do feel like this team is completely different from the last 2 seasons teams that we've seen. I feel like it's closer to the Reconquista team that we saw, and the 2018-19 team. Obviously, there's not as many people from the academy and stuff like that. But man, these next couple of days, I just really hope stuff happens. Like, I want to see Florentino loaned out if he's not going to play, which is clearly the case. Jota, I want to see him loaned out if he's not going to get, like, I don't want to see these players loaned out. I'd rather see us play, like Jota instead of Nemanja.
But you know that's going to be they'll be riding the B team or the bench the whole time, so it's good for them to get a proper loan deal and to get some proper minutes.
Fingers crossed that it's a proper
right.
that it is a proper
because
loan.
They're going to just stay on the B team. They're going to be better.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you have to realize
exposure.
Exactly, like, you have to realize that at a club like Benfica, it's not like we're like any other club where you have like one guy that comes out every couple of years and it's like, oh, like Ren's like, oh, look, we got this big kid. like Benfica has like 5 or 6 guys pretty much every year, and if not every year, every other year, that can play on a first division team, at least in Portugal. And then other guys who are going to break out in the next couple of years in their career, like you'll see them play for a Lyon or a Lille or like a a Leipzig or a Dortmund and be like, hey, that guy he was at the Benfica academy. Like it just happens. And so that's why I really don't think in general, the big 3 here in Portugal don't need to invest as much to have like decent sides. Just because look at Sporting right now. There were so many people on the Sporting Gonçalo Inácio who just got called up to the national team, the senior, A team. And they have just some incredible talent there. I really don't think that Benfica is missing talent in the youth levels. I just think it's a fact that, we haven't been playing them. But of course, I know everyone's going to be in the chat probably too, like, oh, JJ doesn't play with them, blah, blah, blah. I know JJ doesn't play with the youth and that sucks, but it's just a good thing to realize that, hey, like we do have talent here.
I will say this year it's a little bit different where he's.
Mhm.
It seems like he was forced on Marat. Obviously, I'll say he's been forced on him to play him.
Yeah.
But regardless, it seems like he's counting on him more than Farrell. Like if you're to do JJ only, it takes the more experienced players. Farrell technically is the guy with more experience under his belt in the first team and a lot of different matches. But it's the fact that he's looked at them in training and said the young gun Marat with less experience is a guy to look at. Rams, Darwin, I kind of felt it was more the price tag. Like you felt forced to play him. So I hope he doesn't just force Darwin every game going forward. Now, if he's not working out, we got lots of options. But the fact that Ramos got the start over Seferovic, it shows that he's having some belief in it, which is pretty cool. I've seen the rumors about Florentino. Jota thinks it's sort. There is a comment about Ferro. I don't know anything. I haven't seen anything at all on Ferro, but I wouldn't be shocked to see him go. I could see Marat staying, but you still need a little bit more depth if we play a lot with the 3 in the back. A quick shout in the chat. There was from Blackstorm there on the fact that the Stade Luge in FIFA 2022, for those who play the FIFA, I know I didn't buy it last year, but I'm going to be buying it this year. This is the Luge. It's looking beautiful. This is just kind of high level, some of the stuff they're showing right now online, the clips, the commercials. But the idea that this is going to be in some type of clip here in terms of the actual game itself. I saw this ad from Benfica. It's going to be kind of cool. It's going to be very cool to see it, to play career mode. So I will be definitely looking into this. Curious to see how this works. But they invested a little bit of money in Benfica. It's good to see it. It's a big help. It's just nice to see the league growing, man. Again, 5th biggest league in Europe. So you got to show some respect there, which is awesome.
Exactly, yeah.
That's excellent.
All right, guys, we'll be back on sooner than later. We'll see if we do any specials between now and the international break. We might put something together. We're always up to different shenanigans here and there. But regardless, for sure, we'll be back for Santa Clara on Sunday. Joe will be back stateside at that point, still in Portugal, but he's going to be heading back soon enough. And I know Luis and Ethan and even Wilson and other guys we've had on, Greg and others that are interested in coming on. We've had a few shouts from different people, so I just got to work out a schedule. But as always, it is an open platform here at BA90, so you guys are always welcome to come on. I appreciate everyone that does come on because it's a collaboration, right? That's the whole setup, right? It's not a one individual running this. It's a group of people, group of adepts, and it's what makes the club great is the people, man. So you guys have a great night. Thank you again. I
have so much more respect for Luis now doing this after one night.
Luis had a stint there where he was doing every night. So man, craziness.
I also do have a flight that I need to catch, and I need to leave to the airport in less than 3 hours. So it's a little different situation than him. But
yeah, still.
That being said.
Yes. Oh gosh. Yeah, you need to go.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right, guys.
Let's call it a night. I'll play the quick outro here and then have a chance to put someone. So you guys just enjoy some DreamWorks.
Thanks to everyone in the chat.
All right.